up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday. Happy Juneteenth. Okay, if you guys celebrate it. Do you guys celebrate it? Let me know in the chat. And I put a poll in the chat because I want to know if you guys think Tucker Carlson was wrong, okay? It's our main talking point today. All right, but before we get to it, I want to know if you guys think Tucker Carlson was wrong. All right, because I'm seeing divides, okay? I'm seeing a divide between the MAGA groups. And the left is just eating it up as if they're not totally obliviated, but I digress on that. But you guys let me know. I put a poll in the chat. What's going on, everybody in the chat? Hey. What's going on, Loud and Clear? Carol. What's going on, Keenan? What's going on, your car? What's going on, Judd? Everybody in the chat. Magnetar, what's going on, all my mods? Thank you for coming and pouring it up. Yeah, it was a good day, you guys. It was a really good day, and I'm feeling a lot better. I still have my tea, okay? As you can see over here on the side, I still have my tea, so I'm going to be sipping all broadcast, all right? I feel better though, okay? Now, as far as everybody that has won a cup, I will be mailing them out this Friday. I have not been able to get out and mail things out because I have been sick. All right. When you talk this much all week, all day, you tend to get a little sick. So I've been in the house. So I will make sure I do that. All right, you guys? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Y'all are funny already. I see y'all in the chat. All right, you guys. So let me know. Do y'all celebrate Juneteenth? Okay. And the main party that celebrates it is the party of slavery. Go figure. They don't ever talk about that, though. They never talk about that. The main party that celebrates Juneteenth and wants to tell you everything about DEI and slavery and all the, oppressive things, they never tell you that they are the party of it. Meaning all the oppressive things. They never tell you that. Facts. Facts. Yeah, y'all get it in the chat. All right, you guys. So let's get started. So I want to start with something I call ridiculous. Okay, so the Democratic Party, as we know, are still trying to get people on board with their message, whatever their message is, right? But you guys, I saw a commercial for the Democratic Party, and when I tell you it was the dumbest thing ever, it was the dumbest thing ever. But it was funny. That's why I'm going to share it here with you guys. All right, I'm going to share it. But it was dumb. When I tell you it was dumb, it was dumb. And you guys are not going to believe what y'all are about to see. Watch this. Here we go.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, me too. I really like.
What are you doing? She's coming with us.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're rounding up illegals.
She was born here. She's a citizen.
I don't care. She looks like one of them. But don't worry. When she's in prison in El Salvador, she'll have lots of company.
You guys, we cannot make this up. Okay? That is the Democratic Party. Okay? That's one of their new little campaigns. It's from the Progressive Action Fund, something like that. That's one of their lies. That's one of their new ads. Okay? So white boy has a Latina girlfriend. Okay? The white man is dating a Latina, and they just come scoop her up. Now, the other lie that's in there is that she's an American citizen. So I guess she's an anchor baby, right? So she's an American citizen, and they still want to take her. Who is the person that wants to take them? Their Republican congressman. She looks like one of them. What does a Latina look like? What does the Latino look like? You see how, to me, the Democratic Party makes sure racism is in there, but it's not from anybody else but them. Because now they're stereotyping what Latinos look like. Okay, because in my experience, they're dark. They're my complexion, okay? They're medium to light skin. They're white. All of these things. But yet, she looks like one of them. You can't make it up. The racism comes from the Democratic Party. I told you, the party of slavery, which is why I don't understand why they're so big on Juneteenth, Black Lives Matter, and all this stuff, because they are the oppressors. They literally are the oppressors. You guys that are just coming in, I'm going to show this commercial one more time because it was hilarious, but it's just full with nothing but lies. Like, you can't make up the lies. Here we go. One more time.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, me too. I really look.
What are you doing?
She's coming with us.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're rounding up illegals.
She was born here. She's a citizen.
I don't care. She looks like one of them. But don't worry. When she's in prison in El Salvador, she'll have lots of company.
Now, that part where he starts smelling, that part reminds me of Joe Biden. That's how he smells all the kids. You know, when the kids come and the little girls come and he starts to smell and he's sniffing their hair, that part reminds me of Joe Biden. That's how I knew the Democrats made this commercial, because it looks just like Joe Biden. I've never seen a Republican do any of that. Yeah, that's supposed to be ICE. That is supposed to be ICE. And that's supposed to be, I guess, whatever Republican senator and representative that they're talking about. I have absolutely no idea what the Democratic Party is talking about. And at this point, neither do they. So you guys get down in the comments and you let me know in the chat what you guys think about that commercial. When I was sitting here just putting this thing together, and I said, what in the hell is that? Like, what is that? Right, sniffing by. That's exactly Creepy Joe. That's exactly who it is. But you guys let me know down in the comments, okay? All right, so let's get into the show. But before we get into the show, I want to thank Mike, that dude on Cash App. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I always got to put a note here because I always forget to thank the people on Cash App. And I want to thank Artifacts on Cash App, okay? He also sent over a Cash App for the show, supporting the show. So I appreciate it. I thank you so much. And to all the people who do super thanks, who don't get to catch the live stream, but they do put a super thanks in the chat. I'm sorry, in the comment sections when they go back and watch the videos or when they watch any of my other videos, okay? So thank you so much. I do appreciate it. All right, you guys. So I want to get into something that I think should be going away. And that is Jasmine Ratchet Crockett. I'm so sick of that one. When I tell you I'm sick of her, I'm sick of her. And being that it's Juneteenth, she decided to pop out. I don't know why. But she wants to pop out, show us, you know, maybe her new wig, because the wig did look like it was moisturized. So maybe it's a new wig, okay? She wanted to show up and pop out and talk to us about Juneteenth and all of this other nonsense and DEI. She wanted to give us, you know, her perspective. So, you guys, we're going to get into Jasmine Crockett here, because Jasmine Crockett wants to tell us about Juneteenth. Per usual. Here we go.
Everything today, we're celebrating Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Tell me about Juneteenth.
Listen, now I'm a Texan.
Yes,
okay?
you are.
So I feel like the rest of the country is just now kind of getting tuned in.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that being a Black woman, and for those that don't understand Juneteenth, this was about the fact that the last slaves down in Texas finally 2 years later realized that, or were made aware that they were no longer enslaved people. But in this time, though, especially with the anti-DEI movement and the rollback just of our civil rights and our civil liberties as a whole, as well as ignoring the Constitution, and there's so many rights that Black folk got specifically just from the Constitution.
Now, I got to stop it right there. Isn't Jasmine Crockett from like St. Louis or something like that? I don't remember her being a Texan, like growing up, but I could be wrong. However, she's talking about, again, how she likes to float, because she can't not talk about Donald Trump. Okay, so that's a given. However, when she's talking about the Constitution right here, what she's talking about is the Constitution saying that the 14th Amendment was for Black people. However, Ratchet Crockett and the rest of her gang, okay, bald-headed Ayanna Priestley, Ayo Crazy, all of those people, the squad, Ilhan, all of those people, they like to use it for the illegals. They like to use the 14th Amendment for the illegals when they're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, which is why I don't get it. But the party of slavery loves to keep using Black people for all their, nefarious agendas, like bringing a bunch of people over here to change the demographics, including changing them on Black people, not just white people, changing them on Black people, changing them on anybody that's already here. That's what she's talking about. But she's hiding it under the guise of, I want to teach everybody about Juneteenth because I'm a Texan. Okay.
And I think that this Juneteenth, everyone, whether you're Black or otherwise, should really evaluate, what does freedom look like in this country? And are we willing to fight for it? And I think, evaluating what happened at No Kings, I think we are ready and willing to fight for our freedom. But I think that it is important that we come together and we define what freedom looks like for those of us in this country, not just Black folk.
That's right.
Yeah.
Them heifers will sit here and talk about everything but the truth, okay? They sit here Jasmine Crockett sits there with the Golden Girls saying, oh, yeah, we have to define what freedom looks like. Ma'am, you are literally a congresswoman. I think you ascended way higher than the ancestors, okay? Talking about you don't have any freedom. It's just so ratchet. Like, I cannot stand this woman. When I tell you I can't stand her, I can't stand her. She's ratchet because the things that she's pushing, she doesn't even live by, haven't done, haven't seen any of that. But she likes to promote it. That's what pisses me off the most about Ratchet Crockett. However, so Ratchet Crockett wants to, continue talking how she talks. All right. And she's definitely going on a hobo tour because this is the same outfit. So that means she did this podcast right here the same day, okay, as The View. Same time, same place. However, she's getting into political violence. I want you guys to hear what she has to say about political violence and what's going on in America and actually what she says. All right, here we go.
This idea that we don't care how many people get hurt. We don't care how we prostitute our service members, thinking that you have your own special little army that's for you. I mean, it is sick. It is really sick. And anybody that supports it is also sick. And so, we've got a mental health crisis in this country because everyone, no matter how you affiliate yourself, should be against Trump, period. This is not partisan for me. Like, I would give anything to have, sad to say, George Bush. Give me any regular Republican nowadays and I would be happy. But right now we have someone who does not care, and he is being enabled by the fact that there are, people that follow him and they pump him up, as well as the people that are surrounding him. And so, my heart breaks for service members, people that signed up to protect democracy and freedom, not only here, but abroad, and were willing to risk their lives. And now literally the very thing that they signed up to fight against is now their commander in chief. It really breaks my heart. And I don't know how far he has to go before we can come together and just say, enough is enough. Like, this should not be partisanship.
I think we need to come together and say enough is enough with electing people like Ratchet Crockett, because she literally just called everybody that supports MAGA a mentally ill person. We're all mentally ill. And we kind of heard this with Don Limon. We kind of heard that with him when he was talking about, well, you know, you can't actually be a MAGA Republican if you're Black. And now she's saying that, you know, if you are MAGA, period, you have a mental illness because you won't call it out. Like, and then she said that the Bushes, okay, Dick Cheney and all those people, Liz Cheney, who she's palling around with, she's saying that they're all Republicans that are actually sane. That woman is out of her damn mind. She's out of her mind. There's absolutely no way that you think that Liz Cheney is a sane person, okay, nor her father. There's absolutely no way that you think that woman is sane. That woman is a warmonger just like Hillary Clinton, okay? Even though Hillary Clinton is not a Republican, she might as well be. She's a neocon, like the rest of them. So I don't know what she's talking about, okay? When I tell you she just hates Donald Trump, she just hates Donald Trump. And that's all fine and dandy. You don't have to like the man. You don't have to like his policies. But to say that regular Republicans are someone like George Bush tells me that she absolutely knows nothing about the politics that she's in. Because everything she supposedly stands against, that's what they were for. Okay, you're for not going against the Constitution. George Bush did that tons of times. Tons. The Patriot Act and more. Okay? The NSA and Obama carried it along. With the NDAA, I mean, you can keep going and going and going and going. All the wars, the 7 wars, the 7 countries. Like, what is she talking about? And this is what I mean. At the end of the day, Ratchet Crockett here, she doesn't like telling the truth. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about, you know, Trump just on a regular day, all the way to Trump actually making foreign policies. The woman doesn't like Trump, so she's never given him the credit for anything. Like, TDS is real out here. It's so real. Okay. Now, last but not least, I want to go back to The View, because she had another instance on The View, right, where she's talking about, I guess, the Minnesota shooting. She's talking about that and all of her thoughts on that and her thoughts on DEI and everything. All of this that she's talking about on Juneteenth. I want you guys to hear it. All right, here we go.
Over the weekend, we actually saw a tragic and brazen act of political violence in this country. A Minnesota Democratic representative and her husband and their dog were assassinated. Another lawmaker and his wife were gravely wounded. And the suspect reportedly had a long hit list. So I want to ask you, do you feel safe as an elected official in this political climate?
No, not at all. I mean, here's the deal. I do this job, and the fact that my safety is a part of doing this job is really bad in and of itself. But while we spend millions upon millions just so that this guy can go and golf, or while they spent $45 million for his little birthday parade, you know, like, I'm just saying, can we reprioritize some of those dollars?
You can reprioritize your own dollars. Ratchet Crockett went from making 6 figures to $9-10 million per year in the last 2 years. So I don't understand why she doesn't have the money for her own safety. And then they always make a big deal about him going golfing. The man has his own golf course. He don't have to pay anybody to golf. What would we be paying for? Donald Trump literally has his own jets. He doesn't even have to fly the jets that the government has. But he's the president, so he has to. Like, it irritates me because she doesn't know what she's talking about. Okay? He doesn't have to fly Air Force One. He can go fly that Trump jet he already had. Okay? He doesn't have to pay for a golf membership. He has Mar-a-Lago, Trump Towers, all this stuff. Like, she's so annoying. She's so annoying. You have the money. Okay? Go ask Act Blue. Ask them. And they will tell you, you have the money. You have more than enough because you've been scamming, just like your auntie Maxine. Okay. Both of the wigs have been scamming everybody.
When they killed our continuing resolution this last time, one of the things they didn't take out is that they had included an additional, I believe, $10 million to protect non-justices. I'm like, listen, I'm not even asking for $1 million, but can we get something? Because we have nothing. The only people in the House that have protection, you get protection based upon your leadership post. That's it. Those are the only ones. And so when you figure out security, you have to hopefully raise enough money to then be able to pay for security yourself. This is a problem, especially in light of the environment. And so I did text a Republican that I consider to be a friend. Yes, I have Republican friends.
She's talking about Liz Cheney. Child, she only got one Republican friend. Because the rest of the white women over there, they don't like her. So here's the thing. Because she's talked about them ad nauseum, okay? Nancy Mace, what's the other one that she had, the Butch bad built body? Like, those women don't like her, okay? And the black woman that passed away, she's Ratchet Crockett doesn't have many friends over there with the Republican Party. I don't care what she says. All right. However, here's the thing. This woman is sitting here talking about nobody's giving them money. Well, go ask Nancy. Nancy got security, and so does Chuck. Why can't you ask Nancy? Yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why can't you ask Nancy? Nancy has security. That's because Nancy has seniority. Nancy said, "Oh, only the big dogs get security. Nobody worry about you." That's essentially what she's saying. She's saying you're not important enough to need all this security. For what? Who is coming after Ratchet Crockett? Not near nobody. Not near nobody. She's not running up against anybody. She's not going to be, I guess, running for president. So why would she need security? Everybody thinks that she's hilarious as far as when she talks. So we're not afraid of anything that she's going to say. Like, ma'am, stop it. Nobody's running up after you. You don't even legislate. So nobody's coming to do anything to you for pushing forth some type of bill because she hasn't pushed forth not one. Nothing. She spends all her time on talk shows. So I have absolutely no idea what she's talking about. But we're going to let her continue. Here we go.
Just so y'all know. I did, and I said, listen, your people need to fix this. Like, I'm tired, right? And there are Republicans that are concerned. And to be clear, they're not really concerned about the radical leftists that they talk about. They're concerned about MAGA. Because we saw the same thing happen when we had the speaker election, right? And so when people were mad about them not voting for Jim Jordan, they started threatening their spouses and all kinds of stuff. And another thing that they're not talking about that really ticks me off, because I just learned about it in the midst of what happened, is that someone has been sending pizzas to members' homes, and they've not done anything. So I'm just like, we still have a role to play. I get that nobody really likes the Congress.
Don't nobody's really likes the Congress. Y'all better not ever talk about how country I sound. I swear to goodness. Y'all better not ever talk about how country I sound. Because I may sound country, but I mean, I say my vowels, I say my consonants. Like it. Y'all let this woman get away with this. And she likes to throw up the fact that she's so educated. Like, though nobody's really likes Congress. What is she talking about? Yeah, and that's why Donald Trump said what he said about Ratchet Crockett. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what she's talking about. We never know what she's talking about. And then let's get into the fact that she said that the Republican Party isn't worried about MAGA. I mean, isn't worried about the left. They're worried about MAGA. Why would the Republican Party be worried about MAGA? See, this is how I know she's lying. Nobody in the Republican Party talks to this woman. She's an absolute lie. Okay? Because the Democrats even have to worry about the left. Okay? What about what's his name? Josh Shapiro? Josh Shapiro is a leftist governor. And who blew up his residence? A leftist. Okay. Who's been blowing up Tesla? Leftist. Who's been doing all the attacks? Leftists. What about the 2 attacks on Donald Trump? Leftists. Representative Steve Scalia. What about the riots in LA, the riots in 2020? Like, I can keep going. The Israeli shooting the other week. This is all the left. This is not the right. This is all the left. So I don't understand what she's talking about. Only thing they could bring up is January 6th. And at least with the J6 people, they took it to where it needed to go. And that's Congress. You got a beef with the government, you go there. The leftists, they go in your neighborhood. They go bombing, people's homes where their children are. Now, I'm no fan of Josh Shapiro, but bombing his children. So I'm probably right when I say the person who did this last shooting with the people, the representatives in Minnesota, I assure you, he's probably a leftist. He was found with no Kings pamphlets and all types of documentation in his car. Yeah, he's probably a leftist. He used to work for Tim Walz. Yeah, he's probably a leftist. Okay, anybody that works for Elmer Fudge is a leftist. So I don't know what she's talking about. But this is Ratchet Crockett, okay? She gets to say what she wants with nothing to back it up, okay? Because like I said, this is the party that supported slavery. She's not going to talk about that, right? She's not going to talk about the fact that the Democrats turned down, the 1957 Civil Rights Bill, the ones that the Republicans pushed. And they pushed it and pushed it and pushed it until 1964. And they still didn't get a majority of Democrats voting for that. And they always like to say, oh, the party switched. You can't switch in a year. So in 1 year, they switched because the year before 1964 was 1963. And they did not want to vote for it then. Like, you can't make this stuff up. But they don't want to tell you the history. They just want to tell you that you are downtrodden, you're oppressed, that every Black person here was a slave, when that's a lie. Okay, you had plenty of freedmen. Like, this is what they want to tell you because they want you to believe that you have no hope. And a lot of people believe this. And it's just stupid. But that is Ratchet Crockett. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you guys think about everything that Ratchet Crockett had to say. Okay, she was on The View. She's doing her podcast run. She's back. Okay, her and that canary yellow, she was out there looking like exactly what she is, a true bird. You guys get down and let me know in the comments and the chat. All right. All right, you guys, let me go ahead and read some of these super chats and then we'll get back to it. And thank you to everybody who came in, clicked the like. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. All right, here we go. Let's see. Chavis with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Jasmine Minaj Crockett. I thought you was going to get a new name. Jasmine Minaj Crockett and her Busted Temu bust down wigs is so annoying. Sorry, Mika. I'm still working on the nicknames. Okay. Yeah, you do that. But yes. Yeah. I mean, but no, give her credit. This one was actually shiny. It was a little crispy. So it looked like it was new. I give her that. Okay. It wasn't lifting. You got to give it to her. Thank you for the $5 super chat. All right. Next is Ian. Ian with the $10 super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And then Chavis with the $2 super chat. Nobody's coming for her, but Spritz with the drive. Hey, y'all are good, but Spritz with the dry wig. Child. You know what? I think Ratchet Crockett needs to share it with her auntie Maxine. Don't wigs, child. I can't take it. You guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who's joined in. What's going on? Are y'all enjoying your Thursday? Y'all doing good? I see y'all in the chat. And let me know in that poll who you think was wrong. Do you think Tucker's wrong? It's a poll in the chat. So you guys let me know what you guys think of that. Now, I want to move on from Ratchet Crockett because I can only take but so much of her. You okay? I know that's your girl, but I can only take but so much. So I want to move on to Bill Maher and Sean Penn. Bill Maher says that Sean Penn is an emotional wreck. Now, we all know that Bill Maher is a leftist. However, lately, he's been, you know, relaxing a little bit since he's met Donald Trump. Okay. He met Donald Trump and he said, you know, he doesn't seem like the abrasive a-hole that everybody gets to see. But Sean Penn doesn't believe him. And so he says that he's emotional. Okay. He said that Sean Penn is being highly emotional. I want you guys to go ahead and see what Bill Maher had to say about Sean Penn and what he thinks about Donald Trump. Here we go.
I have not been invited. The only reason I would not accept an invitation is because I see no it's a long flight. And I see no
Really? You'll meet with fucking
I don't think
Castro and Hugo Chavez, but not the president of the United States?
Yeah, I saw good results come out of some of those things in terms of
You do realize
agendas that I
Democrats-
had. I don't think that there's anything that I would I just personally
know.
wouldn't trust any.
The man just said he's met with Castro. Take that in. If you guys know who Castro is. The man said he met with Castro, and the reason why he wouldn't meet with Donald Trump is because he doesn't see anything good coming out of it. Have you guys seen Cuba? Okay. Y'all know that's my place. But have you seen Cuba? This tells you what most leftists think. They actually like socialism, okay? Don't let them fool you. They like socialism, they like communism, but I digress.
Anything that was said in the room, including the personality.
It's not a matter of trusting it. It's a matter of seeing it, matter of experiencing, matter of knowing it.
Yeah, it's an
more
interesting-
knowledge. It's like saying I don't want this medical test because I don't want to know. I want to know.
Yeah,
I want to. Okay.
Fair
so
enough.
yeah, I mean,
I have some good friends that are.
I said this many times within the
close to
piece when I did it that like it's up to. I'm just giving you the report. It's up to you to make the decision. Who do you think is the real guy? I'm telling you, there's a very different guy behind closed doors in a different setting. Now,
or
capable
of performatively seeing that. Yeah.
Well, one of the my friends who believe in astrology would say he's a Gemini. Of course, there's two of them. Okay, that's one way to look at it. Other people will say, well, the real guy is the guy you met, and he's playing this clown on TV. And other people will say the reverse. He's well. I mean, it seems harder to do the reverse. I mean, can you really pretend to be sane? You can pretend to be insane. I think it's harder to pretend to be sane, to be measured, and like all the things I said, which is just what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there's three parts of this. Would you go to the dinner? I think you're crazy not to want to see up close the person who's this important in everybody's lives for the last decade.
I
are you going?
Understand that.
Two, are you going?
Why does he seem like one of them white men that be in a trailer park that's just absolutely, gone off of Bud Light? Okay. He had a little chewing tobacco, now he's smoking a cigarette. What is wrong with this man? Okay. He's starred in some of the best movies. Okay. I actually like Sean Penn as an actor. What is wrong with it? What is wrong? This is why I don't like, celebrities actually talking about their politics, because it makes me look at them so differently. Okay. It makes me look at them differently. And then, the movie is never the same. Okay. The movie is never the same. Because now I can't go back and watch a lot of these movies. Okay. I Am Sam. That's one of my favorite movies. And now I can't go back and look at it. I have no sympathy for Sam now. Okay. I had so much sympathy for Sam and Dakota Fanning, and both of them are bat-ish crazy. They're both leftists. You can't make this stuff up.
Going to lie about it? I'm sorry, I'm not a liar. I don't lie. So I told the truth. And then three, do I go back to doing what I always did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, but you could have told more truth or you could have told less truth.
I told
I'm
a
just
lot of
saying,
truth. I
What
told
else they gonna
everything.
tell?
I would have enjoyed a little more brevity on that. But I absolutely understand the
But
dinner
that's just
arguments.
emotional. You were just triggered.
It's possible. It's
Yeah.
possible. It's true that.
But I
For
would
some
like to.
reason, this particular president triggers me rather often.
Exactly. He makes people crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. Yo, I got an uncle named Marcel. I'm not gonna lie. I got an uncle named Marcel, and Sean Penn looks exactly like my Uncle Marcel. Yes, my Uncle Marcel is white. Okay. Uncle Marcel is just like that. And he cannot stand Donald Trump. Everybody, mostly in my family, is conservative. However, my Uncle Marcel, he cannot stand Donald Trump. And he called him Donald Duck. Okay. And he get to smoking and chewing his tobacco. And you still like Donald Duck? That's what he says every time he sees me. Okay. Every time he sees me. And that's because they're deranged. That age group is just deranged. You're not ever going to convince a lot of Generation X and those boomers. You're not going to convince them that Donald Trump is not who the media say he is. Okay, you're not going to convince them.
It's not making me crazy. But so you really wouldn't go?
No, I don't. I'm not saying I think
You should
I
go.
wouldn't, because let me put it this way: what I know I would not do.
Especially, he's very.
I would not go. Let's say, so for example, when we talk about this very different president of Uruguay, there were things that Uruguay had models of in development that could be very helpful to Haiti, and I went to see if we could get some training from them, and so on and so forth, which we did. And whereas if I were, let's say, representing a cause celeb, say it was Ukraine, say it was whatever it was, I would not fool myself that there was I was going to get anywhere with him. I know that I wouldn't. I know that I would have no influence.
Bad attitude. You don't know that. You don't know anything.
My God, what is going on? Do you guys see how dirty the shoes are? He's disheveled. Like, he's really skinny. Like, is this a look? Like, is he coming from a set? Like, why does he look like this? And what is he talking about? I have absolutely no idea what he's talking about. I really don't. Usually that's just reserved for Ratchet Crockett and bald-headed Ayanna Priestley, but I have absolutely no idea what Sean Penn is talking about. He's slurring. He's like, I wouldn't go to a dinner when you haven't, been invited to a dinner. You don't like Donald Trump when you never met Donald Trump, but you assume he's like what you see on TV. Like, this is just absolutely stupid. This is just absolutely stupid. I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. And Bill Maher is sitting there, holding his liquor, trying to let this man know that he's being triggered. He's being deranged. He has TDS. He gets any more deranged, that it's going to be a problem. Yeah, him and George Clooney probably do share a pad because they're absolutely nuts, right? Like, they don't see a problem with Joe Biden tripping up the steps, but they see a problem with Donald Trump. You can't make it up. Most of these celebrities are just bat-ish crazy. Okay, Michelle Pfeiffer, all of these people. All of the people from the 90s, if that was y'all's idol, you might as well give it up and throw away all of those movies. Okay? Throw away all your VHSs. Throw away them CD-ROMs. Throw away all that nonsense. Because these people are deranged. And I can't sit and watch any more of their movies and any more of anything. So this was what their whole conversation was. Absolutely nothing, because not only were they drunk, okay? All right, this reminds me of that movie, Grumpy Old Men, okay? That's what they seem like. And they're only just deranged about Donald Trump. But Bill Maher actually took the step to go and see about the man they call Hitler, all right? And now he's not as deranged. He still doesn't really like him. That's how I see it, but he's not as deranged anymore. Sean Penn, there's no help. So you guys get down in the comments and you let me know what you think about deranged Sean Penn. Because Sean Penn don't seem to want to let it go. Sean Penn is sitting there like, nah, I know what I know, and I know what I know. Like, you can't make it up, okay? Like, and you cannot tell me that man is not chewing tobacco, okay? The cheeks is drooping, like the way he looks, he's disheveled as hell. Like, yeah, the man is just, he's gone, and it's a shame because he's a great actor. He's a great actor, and most of these people that are just going deranged are great actors, are great at all of their crafts. A shame. You guys let me know what you think about it down in the comments and in the chat. All right, before we move on, you guys, I want to get to the super chats, and I want to get to reminding you guys that I'm still, every Thursday, I'm going to be giving away my bald-headed reasoning mugs, okay? The Red Cup Podcast mugs, as you see. And I told you guys, those, I think it's 2, who are waiting on me to send the mugs. I was very sick this week, so I apologize. But I will be sending them out tomorrow in the mail. So I will get those to you. And whoever wins the mug today will be getting them as well. So I am monitoring the chats. I am monitoring the super chats. And you guys, I am monitoring everything you guys do over there in the chat and engagement today. Thank you so much for pulling up, and let's continue. Let me get on to the super chats. We got a $10 super chat from Tech Coach Ralph. Thank you so much. Great show. Happy to catch you live. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Magnetar, $5 super chat. Mika, I can see you as a public affairs specialist. No, you can't. I cannot work for the government or corporate America, child. Join me on USA Jobs. That goes for the rest of you as well. I cannot do that. I'm sorry. I do not want to work with the 92%. Okay. But I appreciate it. And y'all got to go back to work. Y'all not working telework. Okay. So since y'all not working telework, I don't want to work there. Y'all gotta drive. Y'all gotta drive to work. This is the DC area. I would be sitting in traffic for 2 hours to get to work to do absolutely nothing but hear the 92% gossip about Donald Trump and the Real Housewives. No, thank you. But I appreciate it. You guys, all right, let's move on. Oh, Lord. Let's get into SCOTUS. You guys, let's go ahead and get into SCOTUS. So, SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, right? They decided that they were going to tell parents and everybody else that they're tired of you guys and this whole trans child thing. I don't even know what that is. And I'm going to tell you like this. I think the whole transgender, trans kids, like, I don't like it. As an adult, you can do what you want, right? I'm not trying to stop your lifestyle. If that's what you like doing, that's what you want to dress like, have at it. But as far as kids go, no, sir. No, ma'am. No, them, they. Whatever you, I guess, whatever you are. No, you cannot do this to children. Now, they're trying to put it under the guise of that, the government is trying to tell, parents what they can do with their kids. And I'm very cautious of that, right? Because I didn't like it when the government was trying to tell the parents what they could do with their children during COVID, right? But there is a difference between parents telling their children what they can do during COVID and putting, getting their child vaccinated with something that they don't even know what it is, hasn't really been tested, and it's just, it's just out there, and you want us to get it done for whatever reason that you won't even tell us why. I think that's totally different than sitting there mutilating a child who doesn't understand what's going on right now. And then when they're older, they hate it. They want their breasts back. They want, the other area back if they're a boy. Like I really don't like that idea of, sending children to the chop shop. Like, that's what they're doing. They're literally cutting off children's genitalia. So I was happy with the Supreme Court. So you guys, I want to get into this because I think the Supreme Court did the right thing, but you know, the left and MSDNC 13, they think that it's a travesty. They think that they're being infringed upon, and I'm going to say sir on the screen. Yeah. They're going to tell you what they think about this ruling. All right. Here you go.
For the LGBT and HIV project, the ACLU, and joins me now. It's good to have you here. I can imagine this is a pretty intense day.
It is an intense day, and it's intense to watch my clients talk about their experience as parents. And you and I are both fathers, and I think we
hold on, no, no. I'm confused. Hold on, wait. I'm absolutely confused. The voice is throwing me off. I don't know if it's a man or a woman, and they haven't said sir or well. They said they were a father, but probably a mother. Really, I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Let me start over. I'm so confused. I'm sorry, y'all.
For the LGBT and HIV project, the ACLU, and joins me now. It's good to have you here. I can imagine this is a pretty intense day.
It is an intense day, and it's intense to watch my clients talk about their experience as parents. And you and I are both fathers, and I think we, as many other parents, have had the experience of sitting in our doctor's office with our child and our doctor and making decisions together about what our children need. And what this case is about at its core is that Tennessee lawmakers came into that doctor's office and decided they know best and displaced that careful, reasoned judgment of those parents and in Tennessee. And that is unimaginable and should be unimaginable for any.
No, they came in and told you can't be chopping on these kids because you are ma'am, something. I don't know, because they haven't said their pronouns. So I'm not misgendering. They just haven't said them, I guess. And so this person here, is going through their own thing, which is fine. They're an adult, but it's to stop you from chopping on children who may be confused. They have gender dysphoria, who, just maybe in that environment. I don't know, but give them a chance before you start chopping on them. Okay. If I can't go buy alcohol, if I can't buy tobacco, if I can't get a loan, if I can't open up a bank account, why do I get to make the decision to chop off my breast and other testicles and da-da-da-da? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Let them do it when they're grown. You want to be whatever you want to be? Fine. 18, have at it. Because I don't care what a grown person does. I really don't. I absolutely do not care what a grown person does. But stop bothering these babies. Like, y'all are pushing them to do this stuff. It's nasty.
Parent.
I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
I find it so, what an invasion of this sacrosanct thing of getting your kid medical care or psychological, whatever care it is, that the government is going to tell you can't do it.
And I think the reality to here too is, as with all parents and as with all serious medical needs, they grappled with it for a long time and did their own research and talked to doctors and talked to experts. And then finally, they come to a conclusion based on the recommendation of doctors, based on their own research, based on watching their child deteriorate. And then they get this medical care. They watch their child improve. That feeling of seeing your kid come back, and the government comes in and says, no, we're taking this away. And that is what today the Supreme Court greenlit in their 6-3 decision in Scrimeti.
There's a question in Scrimeti, which is the name of the decision, 6-3. It's the sixth conservative.
Child, yeah, that's what the Supreme Court did, because just like most of y'all are not giving, your fat kids Ozempic, why are you giving them these hormone shots, right? Some of y'all are trying to stop the boys from going through puberty. Like, you are hurting these babies. They think by stopping the little boys from going through puberty, they'll stay more feminine-like, right? Because little boys are very, very soft before they go through puberty. Okay, so they're trying to stop the puberty process so they don't get all that testosterone, they don't get the strong jaw, they don't get the hair on the chest, hair on the legs, the deep voice, all of that stuff. They don't get all of that. That's what they're trying to stop. But it makes absolutely no sense to me. Like, y'all are messing up these babies. What's going on? I'm glad you caught the show. Y'all are absolutely messing up these babies. Like, stop. Okay? Like I said, if they want to do whatever, when they want to do whatever, when they're 18, let them do it. But y'all are just, y'all are just ravaging these babies. I'm telling you. Now, here's the thing about it. The White House did a response to it, and I want you guys to hear what the press secretary had to say about the SCOTUS decision.
The Supreme Court, as you know, has upheld Tennessee's ban on transgender medical procedures for minors, puberty blockers, hormone therapy, etc. The White House reaction to that, please.
It's a huge victory for America's children, and it's obviously something this administration believes strongly in, that young minor children should not be allowed to be subjected to chemical castration and mutilation. The president himself has taken very strong orders, or has signed very strong executive orders on this. And we are grateful for Tennessee's efforts to protect our children. And we are grateful the Supreme Court ruled on the side of the law, but also on the side of protecting America's innocent children.
The Supreme Court, as you know, has upheld Tennessee's ban on transgender medical procedures.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. Shout out to the Supreme Court. And shout out to the White House, because like I said, I really don't care what you guys want to do with yourselves. I am not homophobic, xenophobic. I am not any phobic, except when it comes to shrimp. Yeah, I'm terrified of shrimp because I'm allergic to it. Outside of that, I'm not scared of nothing. I'm not scared of anything. Like, I'm not scared that a man wants to wear a dress unless he wants to play me in sports. Okay? I already can't play basketball. I double dribble. All right? And now you just about to get up here and show me up, ma'am. Okay? No, we're not playing these games. So you can, yes, shrimp. I'm allergic to shrimp. I'm allergic to shrimp. So I am terrified. You put shrimp in my salad, you put shrimp anywhere in my plate. It's about to go down. I'm going to start wheezing. Skin going to be all rashy looking. Okay. It is what it is. But you guys get in the comments and you guys get in chat and let me know what you think about that. Because SCOTUS, I believe, did a great job at blocking that. Okay. You guys, you cannot play with these children. And I'm glad all of these things about children are being struck down because they are coming after the children. Okay. The pedos are coming. All of these people wanting to make the boys the girls and the girls the boys, they're coming after these babies. Leave them alone. Let them decide when they're older. That's my thoughts on that. So you guys, let me know your thoughts. All right. Let me get to the super chats before I move on. Gender affirming. Chop shop. More like it. I can't believe they call it that. Anywho. Crunch Time TV with the $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Great show, Mika. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then Travis with the $2 super chat. Bruno Mercury is sickening. Bruno Mercury. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Very sick. Very, very much so. Right. But again, that's their choice. They're an adult. Their body, their choice, right? I guess it applies across the board. But not these babies. Not the babies. Y'all leave the babies alone. All right. We have come to what we have come for. Tucker Carlson. You guys, I know you've seen the trailer, and some of you might have even actually watched that whole 2-hour interview, right, with Ted Cruz. I know some of you saw it, okay? I saw some of it. I still have some to watch, but what I did watch, I thought a couple of things about it, right? I thought it was good. It was very entertaining. But then I also thought it was a lot of gotcha questions. And then I also thought, he should have been more prepared for it, And then I also thought that, he should have been able to speak on more foreign policies, being a politician. Like, I thought a lot of things, right? I had a lot of different thoughts and emotions, I should say, with this interview. And the crazy part is that I've never been I've never been a fan or a hater of Ted Cruz, so I could take him or leave him, right? It's not anything to me. However, I want to know what you guys thought. That's why I put that poll in the chat, because I'm sitting here saying Ted Cruz knew he was coming on this program, okay? And everybody says that Tucker Carlson does interviews like this. Okay, well, if Tucker Carlson does interviews like this, why weren't you prepared? Okay, because regardless of what you think about Tucker Carlson, he dragged him in this interview, okay? Now, I don't know what the purpose was, right? But he did so because he wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared at all. So I really have difference of opinions and emotions about it, but we're going to talk about it here together. We're going to pour it up. I want you guys to go ahead and get into this first clip here. All right. This first clip is of the religious argument that Ted Cruz gives for us, America, who's supposed to be America first. All right. No forever wars. Okay. This is what MAGA voted for. But he's going to give his thoughts and opinions on the religious argument to go into war with Iran via Israel. And I got Rocky from there. You guys watch this. Here we go.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my. You pull out the phone and use the.
It's in Genesis, but so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it. And you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology. I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker,
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
well, hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what, hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
And so is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
And by the way, it's not run by Benjamin Netanyahu as a dictator. It's a democratic country that elected.
But he's the prime minister.
Right.
What?
But just like, America is the country run by Donald Trump. No, actually, the American people elected Donald Trump. The same principle
This is silly. I'm talking about the political entity of modern Israel.
Yes, and that is
You believe
Israel.
that's what God was talking about in Genesis.
I do, but
that country's existed since when?
For thousands of years. Now, there was a time when it didn't exist, and then it was recreated just over 70 years ago.
I'm saying, I think most people understand that line in Genesis to refer to the Jewish people, God's chosen people.
That's not what it says.
Okay, Israel, but you don't even know where in the Bible it is.
You guys, what is your take on it? Okay, because here's the thing. I am not a biblical scholar, but just from my understanding from looking at it, I think he's when they say, a place, when they say America, I think they're talking about the people and not the land. Okay. I think they're talking about the people, and the people of Israel right now are not doing what the government is doing right now. Okay. Meaning the people are the people of Israel, they're of the land, but the governmental entity is a totally different thing. Right. And I kind of think what's happening is the religious aspect and the political aspect are getting locked in together. And the reason why it's getting locked in together is because America is a traditional Christian country. Okay. Closer to the 1900s, it started becoming more Judeo-Christian. But again, it's a mostly Christian country. So in order to get the people from America to be lockstep with what's going on in Israel, right? I think they throw the religious component in there. And I'm just saying, I'm so sick of wars. I'm sick of wars. I don't want it for the people of Israel. I don't want it for America. I don't even want it for the people of Iran, because the people in Iran don't even like their regime. Okay, they don't like the people in the government. They don't like them. So the governmental figureheads, Bibi and I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce the guy for Iran. Forgive me. But these governmental figureheads get to speak for the people because they're the leaders, but they don't speak for the people all of the time. I've seen plenty of people in Israel not like certain things that go on. Here in America, we do the same thing. We will tell our figureheads what we don't like. Okay, we just spent 4 years doing it. So I want to know what you guys think. I really do. Because it's one thing to say, hey, I believe in this, from a Christian or a Jewish religion standpoint. I believe, this with Islam. But there's another thing to look at what people do politically and the political games that they play and what they're doing even to their own people. So you guys, we got to be very cautious of that. But when it comes to this interview, whatever you believe, whoever you like, I'm sorry, Ted Cruz kind of got caught out there. Okay. He's trying to explain a point, but then you're not actually explaining your point. Right? Because you have somebody like Tucker Carlson that is going to dig into whatever you say. You have to be prepared for that. I'm sorry. If you're going with Tucker Carlson, if you're going with Megyn Kelly, if you're going to Candace Owens, you have to be prepared for that. Hell, even when you go to the liberals, that's all that's all ABC does. Okay? Christina from ABC and all those people, Dana Bash. All those people, they look for the little faults and things like that to say, you don't know this. Okay, you should know this already. You should know this. I'm just saying. You should know this. Y'all gotta fight back. Pick up a stick. Y'all gotta fight back. All right. So you guys, let me know your thoughts on that. However, now I want to move on to Miss Candace Owens. Okay. Now, the reason why I labeled this episode Sabotage is because the main characters that were MAGA main players are now indeed pushing back. Okay. Candace is pushing back. Charlie Kirk pushed back a little bit. And of course, Tucker Carlson. So what are they pushing back on? They're pushing back on this whole thing between Israel and Iran. Okay. So now at the beginning of her video, she watched the same video that we watched. Now, this is her response to what I just played. Okay. I'm going to play Candace's response here. Here we go.
And I'm really happy he said that, because when you hear it, you realize how ridiculous it sounds. Even if you're not following the theology, if you don't identify as a Christian, you realize that you have a senator that is sitting across saying that his number one reason, he didn't say one of the reasons, he said, my number one reason that I support Israel is because the Bible commands me to do so. And just so you know, the Bible does not command, and this is what Tucker Carlson is getting to in that clip, it absolutely does not command you to support the modern state of Israel. Like Genesis is pointing to the modern 1948 created state of Israel, and you must support it, despite the fact that it is very much involved in what can only be described as demonic behavior since its creation, right? And so you're going to ignore every other biblical passage. You're going to misinterpret this one. It's a dispensationalist heresy, which was factually funded by the World Zionist Congress. And we can do another episode on that as I present to you guys all of the evidence that what it guided the notations. This really stems from the Schofield Bible, and was overseas, and alleges that he wrote all of these notes in the Bible and is telling people how to read their Bibles. The first time that notations were put underneath the passages. So this is what Genesis says, and this is what it means. And this is how this heresy arrived in America. Then somehow this guy is able to, becomes the most printed book, and Oxford Press gets behind it because, like a random pastor, you get the idea here. It was very much a funded effort to have Christians misunderstand the Bible. And Ted Cruz is one of these Christians. And so he says this is number one reason that he supports what they're doing. So he is willing to support the criminality of Benjamin Netanyahu because he's just in the land of Israel. That's he's saying it's the nation state of Israel. By that argument, if suddenly the current Israelis in Israel all left and we put in a bunch of Iranians, then he would say the same thing because it's a place, right? So Ted Cruz would say, my Bible commands me, I will be blessed if I bless those who bless Israel. He's talking about a place, a physical place, and anybody could be in there and he would back it. It's an absolute nonsense for him to suggest this. And like I said, it's also a theological disaster. And it's so important for people to learn the history, the true history of the Schofield Bible and this sort of modern dispensationalist belief, which has been so toxic to our foreign policy and has been pushed in large part. It's even the hyphening of Judeo-Christian values. I'm a Christian. I'm not Jewish. I am a Christian. My values are Christian. And frankly, you should believe that a country which has involved itself as Israel has in blackmail, in murder, in bombing children, in murdering and starving women and children to get what it wants, the deception. And I mean, you could talk about it on a widespread level. You could talk about it on a historical level. You could talk about it on a molecular or a personal level. It is like a requirement to support Zionism. You just have to lie. You have to lie like all the time. I mean, they are just every day pushing this idea that I'm funded by Qatar. Not a shred of proof. It's completely false. It is untrue. And they say it every day because they have no other arguments. All they have to do is keep hoping that people like Senator Ted Cruz, especially if they're being funded by AIPAC, will completely misinterpret the Genesis and believe that no matter what, they have to support the policies of Bibi Netanyahu, which not even the Israelis support. Right? They don't even support him. They were protesting against him in wartime.
So she said a lot there, but I wanted to play that because I wanted to know what people are thinking, right? And it kind of almost goes to my point about the separation of the people, right? The people that are actually there, and then the state, meaning the politics, right? Your figureheads. Because as much as we talk about the people of Iran pushing back, right? Especially a lot of the women, the people of Iran are pushing back. A lot of the people of Israel are pushing back on things. And we know we have, nut jobs in our country, which is why we pushed back on the nut jobs in our country to get them out. All right. To get out the people that were selling America out. All right. We're getting us in these forever wars. So I am absolutely aware of that. There's a separation there. Okay. And I'm also America first. I am America first. Okay. Now I am not going to say that people should be threatening us. Oh no, right? Because it's a position that you have to take. But I do think diplomacy should be first. So if you can talk things out, why enter into a war? Okay, I don't want to see people from Israel blown up. I don't want to see Palestinians blown up. I don't want to see Americans blown up. I really don't want to see the people of any of these countries, Iran, any of these countries blown up, because they're not making the decision. These figureheads that get to say and do the things on the behalf of the people, and the people may even be pushing back, because I can tell you right now, the Americans did not decide to give Ukraine all of that money. We would have gave ourselves money before we gave it to Ukraine. So I can understand that point. So again, I really want people to understand the difference, right? Because I can understand if this is, part of your religion, how you feel about it. I can understand it, but there's also another aspect there that is the politics. It's the politics. And you got to understand that people understand how people feel about religion and how they feel about politics. You might be more inclined to do something for your religious beliefs than you are for these politicians and their politics, because it's not always in our best interest. Yeah, I agree with a lot of you in the chat. Yeah, Eric, wars are definitely about money. Wars are we've learned that here in America. We've learned that wars are about money. Wars are definitely about money. And we don't benefit. Right? We don't benefit. Do I think Iran should have nuclear weapons? No. 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 No, they should not. I don't think they should have weapons at all. And this is how I know it's about money, right? Because in this final clip I'm going to show you on Tucker Carlson, okay, it's about money because of foreign policy. I don't like lobbyists as it is, okay? I think that is the dumbest, stupidest thing that could have been involved in politics. Okay, because if I'm able to give you money to do what I want you to do, of course you're going to do it. Right? And so forget what the people want. I gave you the money to do your campaign. So this is why I hate lobbyists altogether. However, in this clip here, they're talking about AIPAC, okay, which is a lobbying group. Okay. Again, this has absolutely nothing to do with the people. This is foreign policy and politics. So I want you guys to give your opinion on that and the lobbyist. Okay. I want you guys to listen to how they go back and forth with this exchange here about AIPAC. Here we go.
So I've never taken money from the Israel lobby. Have you?
Taken money from the Israel?
From AIPAC.
So AIPAC raises a lot of money for me, but it's actually a misnomer because the people who raise money are individuals. Right. So it's not the PAC itself, but they're individual members who believe in the American-Israeli friendship and relationship.
Is AIPAC a foreign lobby?
No, it's an American lobby. It's the AIPAC stands for the America-Israeli Political Action Committee.
What does it lobby for?
So, to be honest, not a whole lot effectively. Listen, I came into Congress 13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Right.
And I've worked every day to do that. AIPAC, a lot of times, AIPAC, I wish were much more effective. Like, there are folks online who are in the fever swamp of terrified of AIPAC, and AIPAC.
I'm not terrified of AIPAC at all. You're the one who seems a little uncomfortable when I'm asking.
No, not uncomfortable at all.
I'm just asking what AIPAC does. My understanding, having known a lot of people who work at AIPAC, is that it lobbies on behalf of the Israeli government.
Wrong.
Oh, okay.
It's
when was the last time AIPAC took a position that deviated from Prime Minister Netanyahu?
All the time.
Name one.
Okay. let me go back and give a little history. If you want to do a deep dive on AIPAC,
I don't. I want to.
You see what I'm saying? You see exactly what I'm saying. Okay. Do you see what I'm saying? How do you not know these things? How do you not know how much AIPAC gives? Or what does AIPAC lobby for? He said, oh no, they don't lobby for the Israeli government. So what do they lobby for? Okay. Like, hold on. Let's look it up here. What AIPAC? Like, what is AIPAC? AIPAC is the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee. Okay. Yeah. It is one of the most, and I'm going to share this tab really quick with you guys. Right. So it says it's one of the most pro-Israel organizations with over 3 million members. AIPAC's primary goal is to strengthen the U.S.-Israeli relationships through lobbying efforts and advocate for policies that support Israel. So the very thing that he said it didn't do, it does, right? And that's what usually lobbyists do, right? To the granted of the question being, what is a lobbyist, right? They lobby for what they want to get done. So why he would say that, I don't know, right? But it just goes to show you that, yes, that's what they're going to do. What does that have to do with America? Like, what does that have to do with America? I don't know. Like, I was interested in what his answer may be, but he's not answering the questions. Like, you had to be prepared for this. You know who Tucker Carlson is. You know what he's going to say. You know what he's going to do. Like, give us the answers. Like, why don't you have the answers, Sway? Give us the answers. Like, where's the money coming from? Who has the money? What are they doing? Like, we're tired of not knowing, and we don't care what policies they are. We need to know why we have to send our children somewhere. We need to know why we have to spend our money. Like, why? Why do we have to do these things? And a senator should be able to tell us that. And it's not that I don't think he knows that he doesn't know at all. I think he wasn't prepared for this interview, and he's getting flustered and he's getting upset and he's annoyed and he doesn't like what's going on. But hey, you signed up to be a politician and this is your arena. You got to know your stuff.
I want to do a shallow dive that
No,
gets
no, I'm not gonna do a simple-
I want to get to the core question. AIPAC is lobbying for a foreign government. And it's not.
No.
It's lobbying for the United States.
It is lobbying for a strong U.S.-Israeli relationship.
Okay.
And
it's not, has nothing to do with the foreign government.
It wants America and Israel to be closely allied.
Okay. But it's
And?
lobbying on behalf of the interests of another country.
So that's not true at all. And if
It's not true.
No. And
how much contact do you think AIPAC leaders have for the government of Israel?
No idea. I
Any,
imagine
you think?
some. I think the government of Israel is often frustrated with AIPAC
Do you think
because
there's
AIPAC's not nearly strong enough.
Do you think there's any coordination between the government of Israel and AIPAC?
Do they talk? Sure. If you're lobbying for more U.S.-Mexico trade, would you talk to people in the U.S. and Mexico and the government? Sure. Like if.
So I'm not mad about that. There are a million countries that lobby Washington. I like a lot of those countries, including Israel.
But AIPAC are Americans. They're not Israelis.
Hold on. There are tons of Americans who lobby on behalf of foreign governments. I know them. I'm related to some of them. I know how it works. I'm from here. So my question is not, is it outrageous that foreign governments lobby the United States? They all do, okay, including Israel. My only question is, why don't we admit that is what's happening? You're denying it, but it's true.
Yeah,
and why
because
aren't
what
they?
you're saying is false.
Why aren't they registered as a foreign lobby?
Because they're not.
So I read you guys. I just Googled it. I read you guys what it was. I read you guys what AIPAC is and what it does. Okay. They say it on their website. They're not shy about what they do. And it's actually great that it's very honest, right? So we can look at it. But the thing about it is these people have to stand on whatever they believe, even if it's not popular, even if, we may tear it apart, even if we don't want to, send money to it. It doesn't matter. Like, these politicians have to come to terms that if you are not in lockstep with what the people want, you may get voted out. You just may. Right? But at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about telling your constituents and the American people the truth. I do not dislike Ted Cruz, but I think he was ill prepared for that interview. I think he wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared at all. So you guys let me know what you think, because I truly think he wasn't prepared for that interview. All right. Yeah, he wasn't prepared. It's so wild that as a senator, those things were happening. It was wild. Yeah, it was 2 hours long. And I I haven't gotten through the whole thing. It was wild. But it just goes to show you that now, and I'll also say this too, this last thing. It goes to say that Tucker Carlson is that type of interviewer, okay? He pokes, he does gotchas, I'm smarter than you, and you may or may not like his style, right? I can attest to that. But even if you don't like his style, as a politician, you agreed to go on this program. So you got to study what's going to happen. And he's been on Tucker Carlson plenty of times before when he was on Fox News. Okay. Now, I don't know if, Fox News was safer for Tucker Carlson and people that would come on, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You gotta be able to answer these questions, and that's one thing that I do love about Donald Trump. He answers the questions. He answers the questions. You may not like the answer. You may think that the answer is stupid, but Donald Trump answers the question and he doesn't skirt around it. He might even pull you back because you're trying to get around the question. Okay. And he has an answer for you, and you may not like the answer, and he's going to bring you back. Okay. He does the weave, as he calls it. However, at the end of the day, we all are America first. So we have to figure out how we actually are confronting these things. Now, as I'm talking to you guys, what's actually come about is Donald Trump has issued something where he wants the United States to have 2 weeks, all right, to think about everything that's going on, which to me makes me believe that he's trying a diplomatic approach. Okay. So 2 weeks are going to be given to Iran. Even though they had the 60 days and now all of this stuff has happened, I truly believe Donald Trump wants peace and he does not want to go to war. Even if he doesn't like Iran, even if people don't like Iran, you have to think about the implications of the people and not just the regime, because a lot of people don't ever like their regimes. Okay. A lot of people in China don't like the Communist Party. Okay. A lot of people here in America do not like the Democrats. That's why they got a 16% rating. All right. And a lot of people don't like BB. And that's a fact. So I think we just have to be careful about all of it. And we have to look at the history. Right. And so when we talk about politics, we have to look at politics. Because when we try to mix them with our religious beliefs, trust me, 9 times out of 10, these regimes don't hold up to what the religious belief is supposed to be. They just don't. It's supposed to be, about love, your fellow man, and all this stuff. They don't. They don't. The Democratic Party doesn't hold up to not any Christian value. They don't. All right. The Iranian government, that regime, doesn't actually follow what's in the Quran. Okay. They pick and choose, like most of these regimes. They pick and choose on what they should have, what they should be following. Because there are other Islamic regimes that don't treat their women and children like that. And that's a fact. So you guys, we have to look at the political figures for what they are and look at it there. Because if we depend on the political figures to actually follow the belief systems that we're following, please, it's never going to happen. And those are just my personal thoughts and beliefs on all of that. So you guys get down in the comments, and you guys get down in the chat and let me know what you guys think about all of that. What you guys thought about Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz's back and forth here. What do you think about all of that? Think it's good? You think it's bad? Think it's bad journalism? Think Tucker Carlson is doing too much? He's doing way too much. He's doing, gotcha questions. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Yeah, it's supposed to be 2 weeks. It's supposed to be 2 weeks. But you let me know. Let me know what you think about it. Okay? So let me go ahead and read these last couple of super chats. And I appreciate you all for being here today on your Juneteenth. If you celebrate it, I appreciate you guys. I think I read that one. Kelly with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Super sticker. And thank you so much to Lucid Experience with the $4.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys, again, I told you every Thursday I would be doing a giveaway for my Bald-Headed Reasoning mug, the Red Cup Podcast mug. Okay. And I will put anything you want me to put on it. I can just sign it. I can put a message on it. Not a long message, but I can do all of that and then send it to wherever you are in the United States. If you're out of state, or if you're out of country, we got to talk. But let me know where you are, and I will go ahead and send it to you. All right. And so let me read this last super chat, and we'll get to who won for today. Thank you, Eric OG. I appreciate the super sticker, the $10 super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, you guys. So today's winner is our good friend in the chat, our good old pal, Loud and Clear. Okay. Thank you, Loud and Clear. You are Thursday's winner. I appreciate it. I appreciate all that you do to stay engaged. I appreciate your support here. I definitely do appreciate it. Now, again, I will need your address, your name, okay, to send it to. Now, you can go into my description on the main page, right, at YouTube. Go into the description, and it'll be my email there, okay? My email is there. Send me all your information there. Put your name and send it there, okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But send everything there. All right. You guys, I want to thank you so much for pulling up today. I know we had a lot to talk about today, but thank you so much. And again, every week I'm giving away these mugs. Again, I appreciate everybody that pulled up. War, Peace, Critical Thinking, Dwayne, the Ski Report, Kelly, Magnetar, Shane, everybody that pulled up. Let's see, Chavez, Andrea, everybody, Eric OG, Junior, man, Trace, your car, Loud and Clear, Scoop. Let's see, Jennifer, Sugar Shane, Who else we got in here? Katie, Artifacts, everybody that pulled up. Tech Coach Ralph, James Robinson, who else? Melvin Johnson, Eric Watson, Lucid Experience, everybody. All right. Thank you for pulling up. I appreciate it. It's your girl Mika, and I'm out. Peace.